Hey, Don here. We're doing something different today, a product review. Uh, when we unboxed all the NUX stuff the other day, I thought told you we were going to talk about some of this stuff. This one we're really excited about. This is the B-7 Pro wireless in-ear monitoring system. And what's awesome about this is their digital, really high quality audio, and very reliable from all the specs. I've been trying to study other people that have been using these. We have a little experience with this, and we love it so far. But let's take this out. Let's see what this is about. First thing you notice, this very high quality box. I mean, it's like just nice, very heavy duty designer type box. You got the book in here, and there's some stickers and stuff in here. And let's see what else we got in here. All right, look at how nicely this is packaged. Okay, so you got the transmitter. We'll start there. All right, this is the part that's got the little belt clip that you clip to your belt or however you're going to do it. Here is the transmitter. Let's see if I can get this. Is very precise fit on this stuff. All right, let's get this out of here. Okay, very heavy duty metal case. It's very stout. That's the first thing you notice. Let me set this stuff over here. And then we got, this is the box for the power supply and a couple other things. They give you this clamp. So it's got GoPro type mounts. We'll get this stuff out and look a little closer, but this is a heavy duty clamp. I mean, we're talking, when you clamp it somewhere, it's not going to go anywhere. And here's the actual 1/4 thread. It's a kind of a camera mount with the GoPro style thing that can clamp on down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and hook some of this stuff up. We'll change the camera angle. We'll be right back, and we'll go over some of this stuff in detail. Okay, now we got a closer look. Let's talk about what else is in the box, the accessories. This is, I'm not going to open it. This is a USB-C cable, and I think they give you a USB-C to A, I think is the style USB adapter in that, so you get that. Let's put that out of the way. And then the mounts, let's talk about this. This is that clamp, and you can this is like a GoPro style. That can be mounted on here, and of course that would be mounted right to this, and then this would attach to the transmitter. So wonderful way to mount this stuff. So let's talk about this stuff. Right now I've got it plugged into power. This is just for charging this. This is an actual wireless transmitter too, so you can run it without the power, but this will actually charge this. Was it 5 or 6 hours of runtime, something like that. But the other thing is, this is the receiver now, and one of the things that's really cool about this is they have really strong magnets. So if you want to charge this, it just snaps in, and that's really on there. So now this is charging both this, and even if you don't have this plugged in, it will charge the receiver. Let's talk about some of the connectors and stuff on the back here. All right, I love the fact that they give you combo jacks. There's 2 of them. This is a stereo unit. There's a lot of these that are just mono, but this is a true stereo in-ear monitor system. It gives you combo jacks, so you can do both the 3-pin XLR or the 1/4-inch connectors, left and right. If you use it in mono mode, you need to use the left input. That's the mono only. There's an auxiliary. Let me get this cable out of the way so we can look at it better. All right, there is an aux in. So if you want to play along with some backing tracks or some music you're trying to learn, let's say you're a drummer using this, you can feed in information there, or an audio signal there. Like even if you were doing like a metronome or a click track, you could put that in as for a drummer. The USB-C is not for charging. It is just for data between a computer and this. So one of the cool things with this particular system, this actually makes it an audio interface. So inputs from here will send out to the computer. You can record it, stream, whatever you got to do. Also, the signals from the computer would come back into here, and then you could hear it from the earbuds. So that's the connections on the back. That's very cool that they do that. A couple things on the front here. You do have a headphone jack, so if something happens and you absolutely lost your wireless signal to this, which these are very robust, so I haven't heard anybody that had that issue at all. But maybe you have somebody that's monitoring your mix. They could plug into here and hear exactly what you're hearing. The other controls, you got the data wheel, and when you just turn it, you can see that it gives you the master level. So that's the same thing as if you, let me turn this on here. Okay, so now that this is on, it pairs automatically. And one thing that I wanted to mention about how the frequencies on this work, this is they're constantly looking at different frequencies to use. So it's very stable. If it has to switch, if they start getting interference on a frequency, it automatically switches. It's a very cool feature on this. On this, the receiver, you got a power button in the middle, and then you got the volume control buttons on either side of it. So positive, negative for bringing it up or down. And if you look at this, this is the same thing. If I push on that, it's adjusting the master level, which would be the same thing if I just dialed it here. So it's kind of redundant, but that's how this system is set up. There is on the other side here a USB-C. You could charge the receiver by itself with a USB-C. They do allow that. And on the top is you've got your earbud. There's your 3.5 millimeter connection there. When you got two green lights, you're paired, you're ready to go. And when it's on there, it'll go into charge mode and actually charge this up. So real easy features to look at. Let's go ahead and plug this in. So this is a brand new unit, so it's not fully charged yet. So we'll go ahead and let that plug in. It'll go through the splash screen. All right, so some of the settings, here's the buttons on here. This button in the middle is your power. Push and hold to turn on and off. Or if you just tap it, it gets you into your menu items. So you got the display. What's some of the menus? The display. We got the transmit receive. We got the input setup. The phones level. Auxiliary in level. Language. System info. And we're back to display. Okay, so what's under display? You hit this button, that gets you into these. The home display, that's where you can decide, do I want the bar graphs for the LEDs or the levels, or they've got another fancy kind of a circular one. I like that in that mode. It seems real normal to do that. So when you want to get out of the menu, this is your back button over here on the right. And then what do we got over here? This is the brightness level. Okay, so however bright you want it, we'll just leave it up for now. Back out of there. Okay, boot up picture. Here's something that's fun. All right, it'll show the display here, but it allows you to hook up to a computer. If you want to put your logo in there, you can go ahead and have the logo be part of the splash screen when it boots up. All right, so that's a fun little thing that they do. And then we're back to the home display. So let's get out of here. The next menu is the transmit receive. Let's go into here. Now this is transmitting the latency. That's the one thing. I had some notes. Could you hand me that little note over there? I wanted to make sure I had these right numbers here, so I wrote a couple of notes down here. There's 3 latency settings. There's low latency, there's the default in the middle, and stable or longer little latency. So the numbers are this: 3.33 milliseconds on low latency, 10.85 milliseconds on the middle or the default one, and 14.33 for the stable one. Okay, how do you choose which one you're going to do? Kind of depends. Everything I've researched on these, if you're a guitar player, a drummer, and you're not, you're an instrumentalist and you're not singing, pretty much any of them seem to work just fine. It's been tested with different, musicians, and you can't tell the difference. If you're a singer, the only complaint that anybody's ever done is if you're completely closed off with your earbuds, if you're in the low or the longest latency, the 14 millisecond one, uh, some people have said they can hear it's not like a delay, but it's almost a phasing type sound. So the latency and the stability of it depends on how crowded that your signals are. So if it's not very crowded, if there's not a lot of Wi-Fi and other wireless systems in this frequency range, you might not have any issues. My suggestion: just play with each one. As a default, leave it in the middle. Most people can't hear. 10 milliseconds is about where people might start hearing some kind of an effect. So for the most part, I'd say use it in the middle there and see see if that works for you. But you can play around with that. What's the next menu here? Input setup. Okay, this is where you're going to choose if it's running stereo or mono. If you're really running stereo, that means you're going to have two, a left and a right, and you're going to be panning stuff left to right. Most players that are out using this stuff, and maybe you're doing some studio type work and you want that because you want to try to get the mix in stereo. But for the most part, a lot of people will just use it in mono, and that works just fine, where you get the same thing from both, in both ears equally. Phones level, okay? This is this connector here. So if you want to adjust the volume control, this is for this person only. This is not the signal going to here. That's the master output. So if you're just monitoring this, you can control the volume of that. Let's back out of there. Then we've got the aux in level. That's this connector on the back. So if you want to control, if you got a feed from your phone, you can get in there and adjust that volume level. All right. Language, of course, English. There's a bunch of other languages there, so we'll leave it in English for now. System info. So that just tells you what the version is. Probably the first thing I'd recommend, open up the manual book and hook it up to your computer and do a firmware update. Okay, because I think they do have a later version than version 1.01. So that'd probably be a good thing to do. Then we're back to display. So that's pretty much all of those. Other than that, give a couple specs here. It is 48K 24-bit audio, 20 to 20K. So this is really good quality audio. They probably didn't need to make it that good, but why not? The technology's out there for that. I mentioned about the combo jack, so you can plug either connector in. It is the 2.4 gigahertz range, so it is within, like other Wi-Fi and some other digital systems. One of the nice things about digital is no matter where you go, you don't need any licenses for UHF bands or anything like that. Range, the spec on that's about 50 meters. So it's really one of the greatest in-ear systems for the money out there. Compared to the big name, well, we'll call them the 2S brand in-ear systems that are out there and very popular. The specs out sound quality wise very similar to those. The only thing that some of those do, which are a lot more money than this, is they have features where you can do like a dual mono. So if you have a transmitter that transmits in stereo, some of those will let you get two receivers, and with panning and capabilities built into the system, you can actually run two separate mixes, mono mixes with one setup. This one unfortunately doesn't let you do that, but the price of this is way less than half of the price of those other ones. So you can actually, for less money, buy two systems and you'd still be less of an investment. So far, the reviews that I've watched online, anybody has used this, have been phenomenal. It's very solid. Everybody's very happy with it, especially for the price. The current price right now, as of this video recording, is $329. So I don't know if that's going to change. The link in the description will take you to the website. That will have the current price if you have a question about that. So that's all I got for this one. We'll see you guys next time.